Dear English postgraduates, greetings to all of you. Welcome to the platform of Fluency School of English to get ready for the race of PGT English examination. Fluency School of English is a wonderful diving platform for you to swim across the race, the PGT English examination. In this program, we are going to deal with the gist of the Act 3 of Antony and Cleopatra. This is the second larger act with 13 scenes, being the act for the first larger one in this play. The gist given here will help you to frame more questions yourself. Being through with the gist of all 5 acts will make you the summary of the entire play, and you will come across all the events from beginning to end. In such a way, almost all the important events of the act and the play have been presented here. Hope you will enjoy the travel with me. Be with me until the last. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and also don't fail to send your feedback. Feel free, best wishes. Act 3, Scene 1. When Tydeus defeats the Parthians, one of Tydeus' soldiers suggests him to win more glory. When Tydeus ignores the soldier's urges, when Tydeus says that he would fall out of Antony's favor and not be able to advance as a member of Antony's forces. Act 3, Scene 2. Pompey's God. Octavia and Caesar all saddened by their nearing separation from Antony. Lepidus, the third time, is still sick from his heavy drinking. Caesar bids farewell to Antony and his sister Octavia. Caesar urges his new brother-in-law Antony never to mistreat Octavia, and Caesar urges Antony not to drive a wedge between himself and Antony. Antony and Octavia depart. Act 3, Scene 3. The messenger described Cleopatra, Octavia's physical feature. Octavia is shorter than Cleopatra. Octavia has a low voice and is rather lifeless. Cleopatra is pleased of the report. Cleopatra believes that Octavia's wedded life with her Antony will not long last her. Cleopatra rewards the messenger for his good service. Cleopatra showers the messenger with gold. Cleopatra asks him to think of her past harsh treatment to him. Cleopatra believes that Antony will certainly return to her. Act 3, Scene 4. Antony complains to Octavia about Caesar's behavior. Antony's complaint is that Caesar has waged war against Pompey. But Caesar has also belittled Antony in public. Octavia pleads with him to keep peace with her brother. Octavia laments whom she would to support, her brother or her husband. Antony sends Octavia to Rome to make peace again between Caesar and himself. Act 3, Scene 6. Rome. Caesar rails against Antony. Caesar tells Agrippa and Maecenas that Antony has gone to Egypt. Caesar tells Antony has given her rule over much of the Middle East, making her absolute queen of Lower Syria, Cyprus and Lydia. Caesar reports that Antony is displeased that he has not yet been allotted a fair portion of the lands that Caesar wrested from Pompey and Lepidus. Caesar will divide his lot, he says, if Antony responds in kind and grants him part from Armenia and other kingdoms that Antony conquered. Maecenas predicts that Antony will never consider those terms. Octavia enters. Caesar laments that Octavia, his sister, travels so plainly without the fanfare that should attend the wife of Antony. Caesar tells her that Antony has joined Cleopatra in Egypt, and he has assembled a large alliance to fight Roman. Octavia is heartbroken. Maecenas assures her that she has the sympathy of every Roman citizen. Act 3, Scene 7. Cleopatra plans to go into battle alongside Antony. Enobarbus opposes it. She dismisses his objection. Antony tells his general Commodius that he will meet Caesar at Sea. Commodius and Enobarbus objected. Commodius and Enobarbus say Caesar's naval fleet is much stronger. Antony, however, refuses to listen to Commodius and Enobarbus. Cleopatra maintains that her fleet of 60 ships will win the battle. Antony prepares the navy. A soldier begs him to forego a doomed sea battle. The soldier advocates fighting on foot. Commodius complains that they are all women's men ruled by Cleopatra. Commodius goes to prepare the land and defense. Act 3, Scene 8. Caesar orders his army to hold off its attack until the sea battle ends. Act 3 is Scene 9. Antony instructs Enobarbus to set their squadrons on a hillside, which will allow them to view the battle at sea. Act 3, Scene 10. Enobarbus describes the sea fight. Antony's forces were winning the battle until Cleopatra's ship fled without warning and Antony followed her. Antony's fleet was thrown into confusion. Caesar wins the battle. Antony's soldiers are sickened by shameful sight. Commodius lays Caesar aside, bringing his army and following the lead of 6 of Antony's royal allies. Enobarbus, against his better judgment, remains loyal to his general. Act 3, Scene 11. Deeply ashamed Antony berates himself. Antony orders his servant to leave the service of such an unworthy master. Antony adjusts them to abandon Antony as Antony has abandoned his nobler self. Cleopatra enters and finds her lover in distress. Cleopatra tries to comfort him. Antony reminds her only of his valiant past. It was he who won fierce battles, who dealt with the treacheries of Cassius and Brutus. But now such events do not matter him. He asks Cleopatra why she has led him into infamy. Cleopatra begins his Cleopatra begs his forgiveness. Cleopatra says that she never dreamed that he would follow her retreat. He asks her how she could doubt that he would follow her when his heart was tied to her rudder. Antony complains that he must now seek young Caesar's pardon. But Antony is unable to bear the sight of the queen's sorrow. Antony forgives her. Antony kisses Cleopatra. Antony mocks that even her mere kiss repays him for his shame. Act 3, Scene 12. Caesar is with Dolabella and Thaddeus, two of his supporters. Antony's ambassador arrives with his master's request. Antony asks to be allowed to live in Egypt, barring that to breathe between the heavens and earth, a private man in Athens. The ambassador further delivers Cleopatra's request that Egypt be passed on to her heirs. Caesar dismisses Antony's request. But Caesar declares that Cleopatra will have a fair hearing so long as she expels Antony from Egypt to execute him. Caesar sends Thaddeus to lure Cleopatra to accept these terms, hoping that she will betray her lover. Act 3, Scene 13. Anabapus tells Cleopatra that the defeat was not her fault. Anabapus says to her, Antony's choice of lust instead of reason is the fault. Anabapus says to her, Antony's choice of lust instead of reason is the fault. The ambassador returns with Caesar's message. Antony declares that he will change his rival to one-on-one combat. Anabapus meditates on the action. Anabapus decides that if he remains loyal to Antony, he might be able to attack Caesar. If Caesar kills, Anabapus decides that if he remains loyal to Antony, he might be able to attack Caesar if Caesar kills Antony. Thaddeus arrives to tell Cleopatra that Caesar will show her mercy if she will relinquish Antony. The queen admits that she embraced Antony more out of fear than love. Cleopatra declares Caesar a god to whom she will bow down. Antony enters in a fury and demands that Thaddeus be whipped. Antony then turns to Cleopatra and criticizes her for betraying him. The queen protests that she would never betray him. Antony is satisfied. Antony is satisfied. Meanwhile, Antony's fleet has reassembled and much of his land forces remain unbroken ready to attack Caesar again. Enobarbus feels he must abandon his master. Thank you. Best wishes.